So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special episode of VizConnect. So, VizConnect is all about connecting you with the art of data visualization and storytelling. And today, we want to introduce you to our new Tableau Public Featured Authors. So, it's my great privilege to go ahead, talk to them, share their inspiration about Tableau community, how they can go ahead and inspire everyone in the community, and what are some of the tips and tricks they have been following, right? So let's learn from them how they started their journey, what is something they want to tell you about their journey, and some of the tips and tricks they wanted to share. Let's go ahead and start with JR. Hi, JR. How are you?
How's it going? Hi,
All good?
good, good. Thanks
Yeah.
for having us here. And on behalf of all the Tableau featured authors in this cohort, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity for having us. It's truly a humbling opportunity to be here. Yep, as Sagar mentioned, I'm JR. I'm fairly new to the Tableau and DataViz community online, but as you can see from my profile, I'm a chartered accountant by background, and about 3 years ago, while I was in assignment in Sydney, Australia, I discovered a passion for data analytics after having some conversations with a few people, and that's when I knew that there's this whole new world that I had to explore. So fast forward. A year and a half later, I was working in this data analytics team and was introduced to the world of Tableau, Alteryx, Power BI, etc. And that's kind of how I got started. However, during that time, I was mainly focusing on analytic process automation and was not really into the data viz side as much. So a few months ago, my family and I returned back to our native home of Toronto, Canada, just before the lockdown. And during this time where we were cooped up at home, I figured that I wanted to focus on honing my craft in the area of data viz. So I hopped back on Twitter and discovered the whole data fam community, and started getting involved in the Makeover Monday projects, Iron Quest, Sports Vid Sunday, etc. And that gave me an opportunity to explore visualization outside of just the context of business. And as soon as I was able to tap into the passions that I have in my life, whether it was music, sports, social good, etc. I It took my visualization journey to a whole new level. As I was no longer visiting for work, I was visiting for fun. And to me, that would be my biggest takeaway for anyone who's looking to start their data viz journey is to um, don't discard what you like to do or what interests you, but instead try to infuse it with your analytics or data viz journey. And you might be surprised to see what you will find. And as a lot of us know, data is everywhere and data is in everything, and even in the things that you love. From a practical side of things, what I really started to play around with in my visualization journey is treating Tableau like a almost like a graphics design tool. So, for lack of a better term, it's using layers, containers to basically create um, visualizations that are multifaceted and have more advanced design elements to them. So play around like that and think of it more like a tool that you can use for creative expression as in addition to standard analysis.
Perfect. Thank you, JR. I think thank you for inspiring the community to go ahead and follow their passion, right? I think
Yeah,
being a CA, the visualization you are creating, I get just amazed by that.
good. No worries at all.
Thank you. Yep, thank you for that. Perfect. Let's move ahead to our next author. Her name is Kate Brown. I know Kate because she has presented in one of the VizConnect session run, and it was on Tableau Prep. So I know her more with respect to Tableau Prep. She's passionate about it. She wants to go ahead and help everyone in the community. So yeah, go ahead and listen from Kate, how our journey started. Kate, over to you.
Thanks. So hello, everyone. I'm Kate Brown. I live just outside of Boston, Massachusetts in the United States. I'm a business intelligence manager, and I've been using Tableau since 2016. 2016. And I started with Tableau Public at that time from Josh Tapley, who runs the COE at Comcast, introduced me to Tableau Public as a way to kind of experiment outside of work. So in 2016, the tail end of it, I got involved in Makeover Monday and participated in Makeover Monday for a couple of years. I've also hosted Sports Biz Sunday and participated in Sports Biz Sunday a few times. And, you know, I'm going to agree too, like, I think that if you find a topic that you like, are passionate about, have an interest in, then it's easier for you to pick up some of the functionality because you're working with data that you like. So I think that's a great tip, is to really, you know, find data sets that you like. They may be already out there. You may have to, you know, hone your skills on how you get that data out. But I think it's all worth it for you to do that. So if you look at my public profile, you're going to see a lot of golf for that, because that's, you know, really what I'd rather be doing outside of data viz is just golf every day, but I'm not there yet. So you're going to see a lot of that in here. I definitely tend to be more on the simple side, I would say, compared to some of the folks that you're going to see today. I don't have their design chops, so to speak. But I think my greatest piece of advice for anyone, especially those that are new to the social media community for Tableau, is don't get intimidated by what you see. Use that as an inspiration, but work on honing your skills and kind of viz your viz. Develop your style and learn from people, but don't be intimidated or feel like you need to be doing everything that you see other people doing. It's kind of, what can you bring? Everyone brings something different. Everyone has different strengths, different perspectives on how they view it. And that is really what's going to make the community grow, is bringing your influence in what you think is important and how you want to convey that data. So my biggest piece of advice is jump in, don't be intimidated, and feel free to ask anyone and everyone for advice. And if there's anything I can do to help you, please let me know. And have a great day.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Kate, for that. Let's go ahead and move to our next speaker. Adi, how are you?
Hey, Cigar, how are you?
I'm good. Over to you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me today. I am 80 and I'm currently in sunny, hot, sticky, quite unpleasant London. But look, it seems weird that this is the first time that, you know, I'm speaking to Cigar here and many of the other people on this call. Like, it feels like I've known a lot of you and I've been reading, you know, blogs and content for years. And for me, it kind of feels that way about the Tableau Journey as well, even though I started using it really in March of 2018. So that was with about Tableau desktop version 10.2-ish. And it was kind of a like all the stars aligned situation, really. Like, I'd signed up to a mailing list about this thing called the Data School here in London in 2016 when I was finishing up my master's in GIS, which is spatial data analysis and visualization. If you're looking at my Tableau Public profile just now, you'll see it's pretty much all maps all the time. But 2016, at that time, you know, I didn't know anything about Tableau, really. I thought the Data School looked good. In 2016, it seemed like too much of a departure from the spatial tools that I just spent literally hundreds of hours learning to get into Tableau. So I left it alone, did some other stuff for a bit. In 2018, I was itching for something else, something to challenge me more. And then an email popped up again about the Data School advertising this meet and greet event. They said there'd be pizza. I thought, hey, look, I don't have anything to lose here. And went to the event, heard about Tableau and the training. But really, it wasn't any of the particular tools that people talked about. It was the people that made it for me. Like, so outward looking, so generous with their time, that made me think, right, okay, I want to be part of this. Not any particular bit of software, but a member of this community of people. And it was those people who flagged up a Data Plus Women community event the following weekend, where I spent the whole day using Tableau, and that was it from there, really. I was Makeover Monday in every week, taking 3 days to do it. Yep, that's me too. Ended up getting into data school, and that sort of, I mean, that's like getting the rocket ship acceleration of learning and engagement. Working with Andy Kriebel, you know, that's like having the cheat codes, right? That direct line to one of the best users that really there's ever been. And I am very aware that very few people have that opportunity, and I realize how special that is and what that's opened up for me. Probably the most valuable thing, the most valuable opportunity I've had beyond getting to use Tableau every day has been getting to go to or participate in so many community events, getting to meet or virtually meet so many different people that I can learn from. So many community leaders, visualization geniuses who, like, for some reason, want to raise everyone else up. Like, that's the community for me. Like having a Zen master, perhaps, who you've never spoken to, follow you back on Twitter, and then they send you a personal message telling you how much they like something you did. That's pretty nice. And if I reflect on the things that I've done or what I find useful, my tips for people trying to get started are probably these. Like, if you aren't able to use Tableau every day at work, and not everybody is, try to get involved every week or every couple of weeks in a community project. Like they've been mentioned already: Makeover Monday, Sports Viz Sunday, Iron Quest. In the last episode, I think the last episode, Sekou Tyler mentioned that it's kind of like lifting weights, learning this new tool. It's reps, it's muscle memory. You got to use the tool to learn the tool. Aside from that, ask for feedback and help. Like, there's plenty of people who are willing to help out on Twitter, but also over on LinkedIn as well. If you see a viz that you like and you can download the workbook, figure it out, deconstruct it, learn how to do it. But remember, if you're going to post that, don't post someone else's work. Remember to attribute them as well. And lastly, I think the most important thing for me, and Kate's touched on that a little bit as well, is to be about the learning of it, not an end achievement. So both Kate and JR said, like, get some data that you love and work with it because that has meaning to you. And the recognition, the kudos of Viz the Day or someone getting 6,000 retweets on their visualization, like, that's great. That gives some spotlight. But it's not really about that. It's about learning something new for you, doing something new for you. And if as a byproduct, like, you get to a stage where you can help others out with what they're trying to do, that's kind of like, that's achievement unlocked in my book. So keep at it. Connect with me on Twitter if you need any help.
Perfect. Thank you, Adi, for that. Let's go ahead and move to our next speaker. Juan, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much.
Over to you. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Well, hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Juan Angel. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. I'm a new member of the community. And today I would like to share with you briefly what has been my Tableau journey so far. Well, I started using Tableau 5 years ago, just as soon as I graduated. It was a requirement for my first job. And the funny thing is that I haven't used Tableau before. But anyway, like, they trusted that I could learn with the videos in the Tableau website and with every project we develop. In my case, I think it was very helpful to have those projects as a learning experience because every project was a different challenge and different requirements. So for me, that was something very positive, and I think that accelerated my learning process. And well, after 3 years of working as a consultant, I moved to a different job, and I had a talk with a friend I worked before, and we realized that more people should learn about data analysis and visualization. So we decided, like, we should develop a Tableau training to teach everyone everything that we have learned so far. We have, like, very positive results, and for me, that was a huge satisfaction because I felt like we were contributing with the community. And well, this year I have the opportunity to become an adjunct professor in my former university. And this has been a great experience to me because it's like a new channel to reach more people and help them improve their skills. And one thing that I have realized in this journey is that even if you are the one that is teaching, you never stop learning. And this is something that I would like to highlight from our community. I believe that we all share like the same vision about learning together as a community. I think that this speed up the process, the learning process, and take us further. And as you can see in my profile, I don't have many visualizations yet, but one of my commitments is to get more involved with the community. I like from the first time that I met the community, I was so impressed, like the way people share their knowledge. They are always looking to help others, and for me, that's something that it's the main, the essence of our community. And my advice, as Kate said before, is that, well, don't get intimidated with the work of others, because that happened to me when I saw that I was being considered to be a Tableau Featured Author. I was like, no way. I mean, there are others that have like much better visualization than me, and a bigger portfolio. But I realized that if I continue to think that way, that wouldn't be positive for me. So I will say that don't be afraid to participate, to get involved, and you will see that you will have very positive results.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. Let's go ahead and move to our next author. Siral, how are you?
Great. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Sagar. Thanks to other authors. I love this opportunity to kind of talk to people. I remember the last version of this where I got to watch the last group of featured authors, and that really inspired me. So hopefully this does the same for others. And I'll kind of stick with that idea of the Tableau community, because I think, that's something that's going to be really important. My Tableau journey didn't start with the Tableau community, but I really wish it did. And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see a lot of that sort of content there. My journey started in 2019, probably summer of 2019, so just about a little over a year ago. And at the time, I didn't know anything about the community, but through the Tableau emails, discovered the DC Tableau user group, and through that, discovered the entire Tableau community, and really got serious about it during the lockdown. So a lot of the visits you'll see here are from March or April of this year forward. And I think that's kind of where I started to really get the things that I was most interested in. So I did some Makeover Mondays, which you'll see in here, a lot of the Workout Wednesdays, worked through some of the community projects that most people talk about, Iron Quest. A couple that I'm interested in, if you're interested in the kind of social impact and health world, Lindsay Betzendahl owns a project called Project Health Viz, which is a monthly health-focused project, which is pretty cool. I always use that to shout out Viz for social good, because they're doing a lot of really great work. So if you have a passion for that sort of work, that's another place to go, in addition to Sports Biz Sundays and the other ones out there. I also think if you're not already taking advantage of the Tableau user groups that are happening all across the world right now, since everyone's on lockdown, that's another place where I get a lot of inspiration. I've attended some in Germany and London and St. Louis. I'm in the DC area, so we have ours in Baltimore and DC. Everybody is being really great about promoting their user groups online, and how you can access it, and as long as it's somewhere within your time zone, or you don't mind waking up a little bit early. And then these programs have been also really useful, like VizConnect and the community jam that happens on Fridays as well. And so that's really kind of what the layer over my Tableau journey that helped me to get to this point. And I'll say, you know, I totally agree with the earlier folks that said, you know, to viz what you love and find the things that you actually love to talk about. But I also think using the community, you can find the things that you love to viz. One thing I learned, you know, early on is that the things I love to watch or do weren't the same as the things I love to viz. I'm really into sports, and I thought sports would be a great place for me to really found a passion in healthcare and social impact. And so you'll see most of my visits have some sort of social message to them, whether it be about disparities among certain populations or you know, COVID itself, which was one of the first social impact visits I worked on. And one I'm working on right now is related to health disparities. So that I learned because I to watch people create business that I thought was really interesting, and a lot of it fell into the healthcare space and social impact. So as you get into the community, start to see what business you actually like to make in addition to the things you like to watch. And I think you'll start to find a path to finding your style, finding your voice, and getting a lot better at the tool.
Perfect. Thank you, Siddhal, for sharing that. Let's go ahead to our next speaker. Hi, Michael.
Hey, I'm going to say good morning here since it's going on 8:30 here in New York. My name is Mike Summons. I'm been in New York for about 6 months now, relocated from the DC area myself. I'm very happy to be here, very ecstatic. I mean, this was a huge surprise for me. But as far as being a Tableau user, I've been using Tableau for about 5 years now, starting with version 9. I started using it in the workplace. Originally, I transitioned from using Excel for data analysis, but once our company transitioned to Tableau and I started getting more familiar with that, you know, I started really appreciating Tableau over Excel just for it was just, for me, it was much easier to use and gave me much more ability to express my creative nature. Fortunately, the position that I was in, even though we used Tableau extensively, wasn't really able to use it more, you know, in the creative manner that you see here with some of my examples. A lot of it was just trying to replicate the things that we had did in Excel, just in creating tabular formats. So with that, I learned a lot of the functionality, but it wasn't really until I became a part of the data community, which unfortunately was just recently, within the past year, that I really started to get more familiar with Tableau's functionality and started using it to the fullest extent, especially in the design nature. And with that, you know, I really would encourage anybody out there that's fairly new to Tableau to, you know, get familiar with the Tableau community, because that in itself really helped me to level up in a very short period of time. At least I felt in a short period of time, as far as just gaining a lot of ideas on how to go about approaching a design based on the data that you have available to you, or if there's anything that you can add to that data to help you know, get a little bit extra out of the design that you want to do for that particular data set. But yeah, I call myself a Tableau addict. I find myself always looking for different data sets. I love doing the Makeover Monday challenges. If I finish that early, then I get started on a Workout Wednesday challenge. If not that, then I try to just look for something else that I can visualize. I'm trying my best to create just about every different visualization I can find out there. And even as you can see in my background here, I try to even just play around and experiment to see if I can create something new that hasn't been done before. I'm sure this has been done before. It probably hasn't been a good enough use case for it, but that's the thing about doing these challenges, is you get to also experiment with different things just to see how it would look within the context of a visualization. But all in all, I'm very happy to be here. and I enjoy meeting with each and every one of you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you Mike, for sharing that passion with all of us. Let's go ahead to our next author, Praveen. How are you?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you. This is a great opportunity. I mean, this is one of my first VizConnects that I'm attending in terms of presenting, not attending in terms of listening to folks. So yeah, it's a great day. It's a great opportunity, and it's a great cohort of Tableau folks that I see, and it's wonderful to be sharing the stage with such talented folks. So yeah, thanks to Sagar for this session. That's definitely a plus. Myself, my name is Praveen, and I work for the AI division of Bosch. My company is based out of Germany in Stuttgart, and also out of the Silicon Valley in Sunnyvale. I predominantly work with business-based Tableau dashboard design. I started working in the 2015 for Tableau, and in the 8. And after that, I've used almost every version because as and when the business versions increase, I can add in more functionality to the business and the dashboards that I create. So pretty much if you see my profile, these are dashboards that are a little bit more dynamic. I prefer a little bit more non-static approach to dashboard design, and try to use the space to test out all the business based requirements that I can test out to make it feasible in the real world. So that's predominantly my work. I am more of a user experience design person. I focus more on the functionality and usability of a dashboard rather than whether it looks cool or not. I mean, if we really go into the business, what matters really are the numbers and how we present the users and how we grab their attention and drive them to insights. That's the primary objective for me, because the users at the back end, they really need the numbers to run the business every day. So usually the idea is to grab their attention and drive them to the insight, telling that, you know what, this is what you're going to focus. And it's not about information display anymore. It's about visual insights, and Tableau being an advanced analytics tool. It's not technically a visualization only tool, right? So we got to drive the users to the insight and pretty much focus on that. So I've worked only with client-based projects from 2015 and almost 12 to 15 clients officially till now. And then right now it's been almost a year working with Bosch. So yeah, that's pretty much. So to folks who ask me about Tableau, I would say learn as much as you can about the features, and what you got to do is you got to test out everything that you can here and try to implement those in the real world, in the business. Because once we start putting this tips and tricks outside the design forms outside, we get to realize that user base is not as we think they are. They are extremely simple folks, and they need extremely simple information. But simple is not specifically to something that looks simple. It's something that conveys the information in a simple format. So the more focus should be building out dashboards that are not only visually good, but also convey the information in a quick and fast manner, and stick to the purpose rather than sticking on to the wow function, because wow function doesn't really sell in the real world. What sells is the functionality and the usability. Can we use it every day? So yeah, that's pretty much from my end.
Perfect. Thank you, Praveen, for sharing your passion about Tableau.
Thank you.
Let's go to Priyanka. Hi, Priyanka. How are you?
So, hello everyone, I'm Priyanka and I'm from India. So, my journey started a few months back when a friend randomly introduced me to two hashtags. One is Makeover Monday and the other one is Data Farm. So, I genuinely believe that Makeover Monday is the best practice that one can get in order to excel at data visualization. It has personally helped me a lot in terms of my design and the way I approach a data set now. it's become very systematic. Also, the Tableau community is very vibrant and helpful. So there are a lot of great blogs and videos that I follow. So something as like a 5-second video of Tableau Tip Tuesday has really helped. So all these things are really great to follow in order to develop some design skills and also some analytic skills. The Tableau community, so there's a lot of inspiration that one can take. And when we talk about inspiration, it can be as simple. So we'll see some really simple dashboards following data visualization best practices, or else we can also see some really cool gradient sigmoid charts. So it's upon us to experiment and see what catches our eye and just build up upon that. So a few months back, I didn't even know something like Tableau featured author existed, let alone me being one today. So it's been really great, and I look forward to doing more wonderful work. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Priyanka, for that. Hi, Riddhi. How are you?
Sagar, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much, Sagar, for this opportunity. And indeed, this is a great pleasure to join this stage with everybody. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody joining in from different locations. To start with my journey, I started my career working as an HR in India. And when I was working there, I used to create a lot of reports and dashboards. And then I knew that it was manual. I used to create them in Excel. They took a lot of time. But somewhere I knew that I was interested in reporting and analysis. Then fast forwarding my life, and then I moved to US with my husband. And I ended up exploring a lot of BI tools, Power BI, QuickSight, and everything. I, in fact, learned SQL. I learned R, created a few POCs in that. But then, to be honest, my inclination was always towards Tableau, maybe just because it was easy to work with and it was really easy to learn. So I started exploring more. I started participating in Makeover Mondays. I started participating in Project Healthways, Iron Quiz, Workout Wednesday, and then the feedback which the community provided me, every input, I took it back, reworked on those, republished my Vizes. So that really helped me grow. That really helped me understand what was lacking. But not only that, it also helped me build up my confidence. So I finally, gained my confidence in Tableau skills and portfolio. Later on, I ended up working as a Tableau consultant, and honestly, my life has changed both personally and professionally. So now I enjoy everything I do. Every day I learn something new. And my tips to everybody would be just don't worry what people would think about when you just publish that dashboard, or when you just publish that Viz to Twitter. You just need to get that feedback. When you get that feedback, learn something from it, and then use it in your next Viz. So don't worry, there are a lot of people to help and support you, and things would just be fine. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you, Riddhi, for sharing that.
Thank you.
Let's move ahead with Annabelle. Hi, Annabelle.
Hi, Saga. How are you?
I am good. Over to you. I think I have known Annabelle from a long time. She has presented at VizConnect. She's an active member of, I forgot, women's group, right? I forgot the name, sorry.
Sorry, your sound cut, so I couldn't answer the question.
I was saying I have known you from the long time, right? You have presented at VizConnect, plus you are the co-founder of Data Plus Women, right? You have been active over there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm so good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, depending on your time zone. Yeah. So my name is Annabelle Rincon. I am working as I am leading the Tableau Center of Excellence, Center of Enablement, depending on how you want to call it, in a private bank in Switzerland. I'm also co-leading Data Plus Women Zurich and Latam America. So if you want to speak in English or Spanish, and you are a woman, or you want to speak about women, please reach out to me, and it will be my pleasure to have you on stage. So in my daily job, I'm taking care of the Tableau server, monitoring it, giving permission. We also enable users we learn them to use Tableau. We have our internal Tableau community. And I think it's very important to have because it's a core language. We see that today every author explain why he participated and what he got involved in the community. We even organize small Viz challenge competition internally. So I started using Tableau 5 years ago. I think it was version 9.3 or something. I don't exactly remember, but yes, it was a long time ago. So previously, I'm from the data analytic field. So I'm more like focused usually on functionalities and beauty. I feel sometimes ashamed about what I publish on Tableau Public, but I say, okay, it's a learning stage, right? It's okay. So 5 years ago, my first encounter with Tableau, so when I moved to Switzerland, I couldn't find a job, even though that I have been working more than 10 years prior that in the analytic field. I was data analyst, I even lead a small team. And when I moved to Switzerland, I couldn't find a job for 2 years. It was a very, very difficult time for me because you can see I'm very active. So it was kind of difficult until one day I found a job offer that was state that they were searching a data analyst. That's me. That no Excel yet. Okay, I was using SAS to prepare the data and Excel after that, and that knows Tableau or wants to learn. I say, yeah, let's give it a try. They give me like a data set, 2 weeks, and they say, okay, come back in 2 weeks and show me what you want. And they already understood that Tableau it's a tool that you can learn. So 2 weeks after, I just give them my insight. They like it, and I got the job. And I go back to the market. So I own Tableau, my career in Switzerland. Thanks to that, I was able after to find a different job and grow myself and personally and professionally. So, it was a love at first sight when you can see how fast you can build the map and color the different regions versus how we had to do that manually more than 7 years ago. So young folks will not even remember this time. So, yeah. I think, like everyone said, don't be ashamed, publish your work, do whatever you want. I'm not participating to a Makeover Monday because I don't have time. I prefer to do my own project. I prefer to viz about something else, but nothing is wrong. And I think that my first viz on Tableau Public was something about the Queen Elizabeth II. So you see, it's very far away from the financial sector. And that's it for me.
Perfect. Thank you, Annabelle, for that. Let's move ahead to Robert. Robert, how are you?
Good. How are you?
All good. Yep. Over to you. Go ahead, please.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the session today. My name is Robert Janzek, and I work in the JP Morgan Chase Tableau Center of Excellence. And my journey is not as exciting because I got pretty lucky. I actually started using Tableau right out of college after I got a bachelor's degree in business management, which literally has nothing to do with anything I'm doing now. So as soon as I graduated college, I started using Tableau. I remember whoever the manager was at the time, they said, hey, we think you'd be good for the analysis team. And I said, okay, I don't know exactly what that is anyways. So I joined and they said, okay, we're using this program called Tableau. I said, okay, cool. I don't know what that is, but I'll start using it. And I started using it, and it's not that I had no reference for whether or not I liked it or not. So I started to use it. I thought it was pretty cool. And then once I got on Tableau Public, I didn't start using Tableau Public yet, but I saw some of the stuff that people were creating. And I very vividly remember the viz that made me think like, okay, this can do way more than, you know, what we're using it for now. It was a viz called Tableau Sushi, and it was by Russell Spangler. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, all right, like, what even is this? It looks like sushi. It's made out of polygons. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, this can do way more than we're giving it credit for in our current business setting. So from there, I kind of jumped onto the, you know, Makeover Monday type thing at the beginning. And then over time, I realized that, you know, I wanted to viz things that were much more up my alley, which is music. So a lot of the stuff that I like to create visualizations on are music specifically. And then also just based off of my general design style, I like things that I perceive to be interesting for me, things that I think look interesting. And, you know, you can debate whether or not other people think it's interesting or not, but, you know, I think it's interesting. So, you know, you got to go with what you like to viz about and what you think is interesting in the first place. And my general design style is pretty clean, which is interesting because my apartment's pretty clean. So I had the self-awareness that, hey, it makes sense that the way that I create things is exactly the same way that things are organized in my apartment. So I had that self-realization. I'm like, okay, it makes sense. And, you know, as time goes on, you know, really, I'm very project oriented. And what I mean by that is everything that I learn is for the next project. You know, some of these vizzes here, I mean, the techniques it took me like weeks and months to figure out how to do it, which is why I don't have a ton of visualizations. Like most of my time is spent what I consider to be R&D, really. Whether it's learning how to use Figma or Illustrator, or learning more about shapefiles, or, you know, learning more about design. Really, it's all these things. You're just getting more tools on your tool belt so that you can create your next project. That's kind of how I look at things. But yeah, my main tip for people is that just having a self-awareness that you are creative, even if you don't participate in things that you would generally think are the creative field, like drawing, painting, you know, graphic design. Maybe you really like cooking, and, you know, maybe you tell yourself, hey, I'm not creative, but guess what? You are creative because your interest is cooking, and maybe you spend a lot of time cooking. Even if vizzing is not your thing, just having that awareness that you are creative and that you can focus your time and energy on the things that you enjoy to create things that you would be proud of, I think is the main goal of all of this in the first place. So yeah, that's my tip to everyone.
Perfect. Thank you, Robert, for that. Let's move ahead to the last but not the least. Jaffer, how are you? You're on the mute. Sorry, you're on mute. You're still on mute. Sorry. Let me unmute you just a second.
Hello? Can you hear me now? Okay,
Perfect.
awesome,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, awesome. How are you, Cigar? How's it going?
All good, all good. Thank you.
Good, good. First, I want to thank you and everyone else. It's honestly an incredible honor to be here. So just a little bit about myself. Hi everyone, I'm Gefar Shah. I'm from Philadelphia. I work at Comcast NBC Universal as a data visualization analyst. I've been using Tableau for almost 3 years now, since 2017. the first time I've ever been introduced to Tableau was at a Comcast career networking event. So about 3.5 years ago, I was looking for an internship, and I wanted to change my career path. I was doing software engineering, but I realized that wasn't meant for me. So I wanted to go into the data analytics, data visualization space. So fortunately, I had the opportunity to meet Josh Tapley at the internship networking event at Comcast. And Josh talked about how Tableau was used across the entire organization. And he also runs the Tableau user group. So he introduced me to the Tableau user group and Tableau. And he encouraged me to attend one of the Tableau user groups in the upcoming week. So a couple weeks later, I attended the Tableau user group, and I was completely mind blown by how awesome, supportive, and talented the community was. And I've never seen anything like it before, to be honest. So, and the best part was looking at Tableau and seeing all the talented authors that were presenting, taking complex data sets and turning it into something so beautiful visually. And I was like, wow, how can I get there? So I asked a couple of questions around. I was asking the community members. Everyone was super kind. And they were like, the best way that you can actually get your foot through the door and start improving your designer skills, because I was no designer. I had no idea how to design. I had no UX background. And they recommended participating in the community projects, Makeover Monday, Iron Quest, Project Help Biz, like pretty much everyone else mentioned here. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, so let me try out Makeover Monday. So if you scroll all the way down to my portfolio, starting out in, when I started out with Makeover Mondays, my visualizations weren't that great. I mean, I was just, I had plain white background. It just wasn't, like when I look back at it now, I'm just like, wow, that seriously needs a real makeover. But over time, it took me about 2.5 years to eventually craft my own signature style for my visits. So, my advice to anyone who's entering the data analytics space or data visualization space is that everyone learns at a completely different space. It took me 2.5 years to craft my own style, but someone else could take maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And another thing is that if you have a Tableau user group in your community, definitely look that up and start going into it, because once you start going into the Tableau user groups, first, you're going to be inspired by all the talented authors that are presenting up there, right? And second, you're going to make lifelong, like really great relationships with everyone in the community. And also, it's just a great way to get some exposure in data visualization and improve your design skills over time. But yeah, that's pretty much my Tableau journey.
Perfect. Thank you, Jafar, for that. Let's move ahead to our Q&A section now. We have a few minutes. Let me just see if we have any questions. So if you have any questions for anyone on the call, just go ahead and post it to the Q&A tab. Happy to just read out. And I have one question, right? So anyone can go ahead and answer it. And it's more about, I know like people are passionate about things, right? So you really have to be passionate about Tableau if you want to go ahead and just open it regularly, right? So what is one key factor for you which inspires you to go ahead and work on Tableau, right? So Mike mentioned that he loves data, right? So whenever he gets a data, he just goes ahead and wants to do something out of that, right? So what is one thing which really motivates or inspires you to go ahead and work on Tableau, right? If anyone wants to just unmute yourself and talk about it.
I can go. It's JR.
Yeah.
For me, the way I view data and data visualization specifically is it helps me understand my world better, right? So whether it's my world from the perspective of, with the things that I love to do, whether it's sports, whether it's music, faith, etc., I feel like putting it on a screen and looking at how things relate to one another in terms of patterns over time, over regions, etc. It helps me understand and gain an appreciation for the complexities of of reality, right? So to me, that's been a driving force of why I really am passionate about Tableau and data visualization, because it helps me understand that. And next is, as Gefar mentioned, it's the amazing community, and so don't be afraid to reach out to people in the community, and whether it's a cold email or a DM. You'll be surprised in terms of who you'll meet. Everyone is just super helpful, and those people more or less will be your anchor, will be your support group, right? Like when you feel like giving up, or when you feel like you're not doing a great job, those people will help encourage you, keep you accountable, and keep you on your toes, even from a technical standpoint.
Perfect. Thank you. Yep.
For me, getting inspired, for me, it's not forcing inspiration. And I mean that in terms of sometimes it can get so easy to get burnt out with the constant amount of things that are being put out. For me specifically, I could go 2 months without doing anything, and then just something will click and I'll be really inspired to create something. And I think it works for me because it's a great way not to get burnt out, and it's a great way to have longevity in whether it be the Tableau community or the data visualization community in general. It's just a good way to just understanding that you don't need to constantly put something out, I think is a way to stay inspired. It's like a natural way to say, hey, I don't need to constantly put something out, but I can wait until something naturally, maybe I'm sleeping and my mind is wandering and something just comes to me and then I get really inspired. Just having that, self-awareness of that, I think it's like a natural way of being inspired. So.
Perfect. Yep. Anyone else?
Yep, I think so. That's more of thinking at the person who is using our dashboards, at least at work. That's the best way to get motivated is what I do is, once we try to build out dashboards, we just see who is using that. And if you're able to make their life good for at least even one day, it's something that you're done in their life, because you're using something that they are not aware of, and you're trying to make their life simple. That's the motivation that I think that drives me every day. There are thousands of people that use dashboards, and at least a couple hundred that use my dashboard on an everyday basis. So that's the motivation. And if you're a person who is more of a public visual person, I think so that the biggest motivation is keeping in track with the different ideas the community comes up. I'm a person who learned everything from the community. I mean, that's hands down. I don't have anything to say. I started reading Kevin's blogs maybe 5 years ago, and that was a starting point. That was extremely native and very detailed. There were a lot of folks who had blogs 5 to 6 years back who don't have right now because they migrated into different mode. But what I learned 5 years back and what I learned right now, they're extremely different, but the journey continues. You get to learn something that you might seem obsolete, but it really works in the real world. So reaching out to the community and seeing what they share and keeping track of that and remembering that, documenting that, that's the motivation that can keep you in the pace in the visual design for a longer time, and you can explore and learn a lot from that. So that's like primary motivation.
Thank you, Praveen, for that. Let me see. Okay, that's an interesting question. So I think Ravi is asking, he would like to understand what is one thing you wish you had known or implemented in early phases of your Tableau and data viz career.
Well, I know for me, just getting involved with the Tableau community at the beginning of my journey, I think would have been a lot more helpful to me. just being able, just knowing that I could reach out to various people, with questions that I have, and just getting answers, and then, just figuring out how to do, how to expand on Tableau's functionality. That for me would have been a huge thing early on.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone else?
Hi, Cigar. It's Gefar.
Yeah.
I think for me, when I started out in Makeover Monday, I'm pretty sure like almost everyone else felt the same way. I was overwhelmed by all the visions that were out there. They were so beautiful, so stunning, and I was like, how can I get to this point? But it took time to realize that it's not a competition in the community. It's really, everyone out there in the community is out there to support you, to help you, climb that ladder and become a better designer. I wish someone had told me that, and I wasn't really sure at the time because someone fresh going into with no UX background, going into data visualization, I'm just like, I was completely overwhelmed. But stuff like this takes time. It can take weeks, it can take months, it can take years. So that's like a tip, something I wish I had known going into the data visualization community.
Yep. Thank you for sharing that. And I think this is a question for Annabelle, Priyanka, and Vidhi, right? So I think now I see that more women are coming forward into the space of analytics and visualization, right? I think Annabelle, we can start with you. You're hosting Data Plus Women. That has encouraged a lot of people to go ahead and come into this space, right? What are some of the, I think, advice for you for someone who wants to go ahead, come into this Tableau community or join this space of visualization and data stuff? Yeah.
Based on my experience, women are like more shy than men to speak. So sometimes I have to heavily encourage them, like harassing them almost, in order that they accept to speak on the Data Plus Women event or something. But after, when they see like model women on stage speaking, they say, okay, yeah, she did it. Why I cannot do it? So what we need is like model. You don't have to be shy. There is like enough space for everyone, and everyone has like something to show. So that's always what I try to tell them, to encourage them to come and speak or come in Tableau Public and publish something. Otherwise, they are like, maybe women are like more, what is this imposter syndrome that we sometimes we have a little more that, but yeah, we have to overcome.
Yeah. Riddhi, Kate, Adi, Priyanka, anything you want to add?
So, Sagar, for me, when I initially started, for me, I actually saw a lot of women already creating visuals on Twitter. So I saw Eva, I saw Sarah, I've seen Lindsay. Then there's a whole list of inspirations. There's Meera, Swati, there's Iram. There's so many other people who you see every day visiting, and then you know that okay, if there are people out there, it's not for something or somebody who alone can do it, but anybody and everybody can learn. So like just Gefar said, that we just need to have that patience. Sometimes things might work for us, sometimes things might not, but if you practice, if you see people around, you get that inspiration, and then you say that okay, let me also give it a try, and then it works. Actually it works. So it worked for me.
Perfect. Thank you, Riddhi.
Yeah, and I'll just chime in. I think that there are so many talented women in the data viz community. For me, it was never really like, I never felt that gender was an issue.
Yep.
You look at like Anya and Pooja from years ago when I joined. They were my inspiration, and what they were doing was just fantastic. And they're just incredibly nice, kind, supportive people. So I don't really see a gender issue in the data viz community. I'm sure, if you kind of delve into it, there are pockets of it here and there. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any issue with it. And if anything, there are so many inspiring women.
I think, Sagar, if I could add to that, what Kit's just said, I think for me, yeah, I've never really felt that I've missed out on any opportunities because of any particular gender issue within the community. But I do feel that that's because I've benefited from the things that those women have already created. So like Eva Murray, Sarah Bartlett particularly. I know that those two have reached out specifically to me to create opportunities for me. And so I've benefited from that. And I think for people coming in, it's up to us. Now we've got this kind of featured authors, spotlight, and others who are still kicking around in the community to do the same. So to reach out and bring new members on so that we are still creating opportunities for the women coming in.
Perfect. Thank you. I think it was an honor, everyone. Thank you so much for coming on VizConnect and just talking about your journey with Tableau, right? I wish you all the best with respect to your journey. All the best for IronViz. I'm hoping to see some of you over there on the stage and just inspiring many more, right, with respect to it. I think with that, thank you everyone for joining VizConnect. We'll take a one last photo if everyone can just switch on their cameras, and I will just switch on mine. Okay, just a second. Okay, perfect. 1, 2, 3. Thank you everyone for joining, and have a great week ahead. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.